Hey, can we just pay a moment of respect to this gentleman, this Marine right here, Lieutenant General Michael Langley, who's about to become the first black 4-star general ever? I mean, not for nothing, it only took just under 250 years to get one. But in all seriousness, he really should be applauded. He put in a lot of hard work and he did a lot of things for a lot of people. So, congratulations, sir.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining us for Get Into It with Taz and Chris. I finally got it right after all this time.
That was an awesome intro, though. That's awesome, even though it took like.
Oh, yeah. And we have kind of a potpourri of a show, but don't we always? Of a variety of topics. I tried to squeeze in as many of the topics that y'all sent in this week.
Right.
Say hey, Chris.
Hey. Yeah, Ginger's back again.
Ginger's back. All right.
Resident Ginger.
Now, just when you thought the whole Johnny Depp, Amber Heard thing had kind of died down, Amber Heard is still trying her best to crawl out of the depths of debt. But people are now turning their focus, it seems, to Kate Moss. So coming from Deadline.com, I know the truth. Kate Moss reveals why she chose to speak in Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation case. Kate Moss has revealed why she felt moved to defend her former partner Johnny Depp in his defamation lawsuit with ex-wife Amber Heard earlier this year. The British supermodel barely gives interviews or talks publicly, but broke her silence to give evidence via video link in the trial, when she denied a rumor heard by Heard's team that Depp had once pushed Moss down the steps during their relationship in the 1990s. Moss spoke about her participation in the lawsuit on long-running BBC radio interview show Desert Island Disc, in which public figures are asked to choose their 7 favorite records, 1 book, 1 luxury item, and also to discuss their lives. Asked why she decided to speak out in support of Depp, she replied with reference to the actor and also to her friend, fashion designer John Galliano, who was found guilty of anti-Semitic abuse in 2011. I believe in the truth, and I believe in fairness and justice. I know that John Galliano is not a bad person. He had an alcohol problem and people turn. People aren't themselves when they drink, and they say things that they would never say if they were sober. And she added, I know the truth about Johnny. I know he never kicked me down the stairs. I had to say the truth. Depp, who was in a relationship with Moss between 1994 and 1998, won the lawsuit against his ex-wife Amber Heard. Both claimants, who initially filed suits in the infamous case, have now launched appeals against the verdict, which largely favored Depp.
And she also didn't like Heard and Aquaman, so probably that too.
Yeah, that too. Nobody really liked Heard and Aquaman.
Put her back in the ocean.
Not even her
Put her back in the ocean.
Yeah, we can't even say her co-star because she was not the star of the show.
No, they didn't like her.
And also in the genre of Amber Heard, it would not be a show with me in it if there wasn't an Elon Musk story. If you haven't figured out by now, it is one of my favorite pastimes to poke the bear that is Elon Musk. Coming from thehill.com.
We just always have fun with old Elon.
I should not be so tickled by this, but I am. Elon Musk. That. And I really shouldn't drink coffee this late at night, but hey, let's do this. Elon Musk's affair with Google co-founder's wife led to divorce filing report. Google co-founder Sergey Brin filed to divorce his wife after learning she had an affair with fellow tech billionaire Elon Musk, according to the Wall Street Journal. Musk, the richest man in the world, and Bren, the eighth richest man, were close friends until the affair, the newspaper reported. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO regularly crashed at Bren's house, and Bren helped support Musk and Tesla during the 2008 financial crisis. You know what? The list of people who've had to bail out Elon Musk just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. In recent months, the two had a falling out when Bren telling his financial advisors to sell investments in Musk's companies, according to the journal. Ooh, he invested in your companies and you still boinked his woman? Woo! Bren filed for divorce from his wife, Nicole Shanahan, in January, shortly after learning of the affair, according to the newspaper. While the couple were having issues, they were still living together when Musk and Shanahan reportedly had the affair at the Art Basel Festival in Miami in December 2021. They officially separated on December 15th. Musk reportedly apologized to Bren at a party earlier this year, even dropping to a knee to express his sincerity, the Wall Street Journal report. What
Wow.
is
What
this
in the
1800s? My good sir, I am
what?
sorry that I defiled your maiden. Could you please bestow it upon your heart to forgive me in earnest?
We'll give you a ticket to watch the next SpaceX launch.
Musk, 51, separated from the Canadian singer Grimes, whose real name is Claire Elise Boucher, in September after a roughly 3-year
Mhm.
relationship. The entrepreneur had twins with a top executive at another one of his companies, Neuralink, weeks after he broke up with her. Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Elon's full of Boucher.
Yeah, exactly. That seems like an HR nightmare. You sexually harassed one of your flight attendants on a SpaceX shuttle, and you impregnated an exec at one of your
Mm-hmm. It was a different area code. He's going by the old thing.
But
Yeah.
how you he took a knee to a
Your own SpaceX employee.
I,
We used to only hear about it. We used to only hear about that in Trump Tower.
I,
Goodness. His employees.
oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay.
Woo,
Happens in
you know what?
SpaceX. SpaceX.
Rich people are a different breed because I couldn't have ran into somebody who was my friend that slept with my spouse
Mm-hmm.
at a party. Party would have ended. Party would have ended because they would have been a part of a fixture in that house.
Mm-hmm.
But
Then the guy pulled up in a Tesla.
coming from the bin of Jerry Jones is at it again
Jerry
from
World.
from NBCnews.com. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones apologizes for a height-related slur. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones issued an apology Tuesday for using a derogatory term to describe little people when paying tribute to a team executive who recently passed away. Jones used the term in sharing memories about former Cowboys scouting director Larry Lacewell, a key figure in Dallas's run of 3 Super Bowl titles in the 1990s. What? How you gonna honor me by using a slur towards me? I would come back and haunt him. I would come back and haunt him.
Remember, he's only one of many owners that would do that. He's part of the whole owner fraternity.
True. Very, 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 very true.
They don't do that in Cincy. Oh. Not in the jungle. In the jungle, there's fever. That's what Cool Joe says. You got jungle fever.
They definitely have it with that. They have a high fever with those black and white helmets they want for this new. They're so.
Yeah, I thought the photo was taken, off of color and put into black and white mode. So it didn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, I was like, okay, how about you just reverse it? What if it was black with the orange stripes?
Because my thinking, I'm like, did they forget that they play football? That's about to be a nasty, dirty. Okay.
I mean, all white. I mean, they're gonna be playing.
I don't know who thought that was a good idea. No.
Apparently, there wasn't a vote.
Yeah,
Not by the public, that's for sure.
only thing they seem to be voting on is what to change the name of Paul Brown Stadium.
Mm-hmm. We know
I'm like,
what
y'all
it
not
is.
gonna wait for the man to die. Y'all just gonna take his name down off. That's petty. I mean, I live for that level of petty, but that's petty. But rounding
Not
rounding
gonna
out
be
our
the Marvin Smithfield.
yeah, rounding out our sports news for tonight, coming from USA Today Sports. Panthers QB Baker Mayfield wants nothing to do with Browns jersey. Breakups can be a bit rough, even when they come in the NFL. Quarterback Baker Mayfield continued on the newest chapter of his football career on Wednesday, taking the field at Wofford College for Carolina Panthers' first practice of training camp. But he wouldn't get to that field without a little reminder of his past. Mayfield, of course, is fresh off a painfully awkward separation from the Cleveland Browns, who pushed him aside for Deshaun Watson this offseason. The former number one overall pick had some good times back in Cleveland, including leading the organization to its first playoff win since 1994. Regardless, he starts anew here with Carolina alongside fellow 2018 draftee Sam Darnold. So, as they're competing against one another for the starting job under center, perhaps Sam would help Baker out with some post divorce feelings, something
That
Darnold
ain't happening.
dealt with a year prior after being kicked out for another shiny new toy. Oh, and don't bring any of Mayfield's Browns jerseys to camp this summer. You probably won't get it signed. They put a lot into Baker Mayfield. I remember a lot of the local commercials with him in different parts of the Brown Stadium. They like made such a huge deal, and then they get problematic, highly costly Deshaun Watson and get rid of like this is why I still don't believe Deshaun's really gonna get
And he had the whole nationwide, what was it, progressive commercials,
yeah.
Baker's house or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that'll happen here in Charlotte with the stadium, but
Well, definitely not.
yeah, Charlotte's a little different than the city by the river.
Yep. Now, let's get into some meat and potatoes. Ever wonder how much your senators make and what they actually do while earning this money? Here's a little clip. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Senators say $15 minimum wage is too much. They make $85 an hour.
What?
What job can you have where you are sleeping through it and still be employed? And now this makes so much sense. It makes so much sense why so many senators have no idea what's going on. This is why they get Twitter fingers and say, such and such, the Democrats aren't doing this for you. The Republicans aren't doing this for you. They don't know who's doing what for who.
Mhm.
They are.
Yeah.
Elect me to Senate because I need some naps. Okay, I'm tired. I'm running off a good 3.5 hours worth of sleep right now. Pay me to sleep. Shit.
That'll work.
And I mean, they were knocked out. What?
And no surprise there.
None.
If I had to sit next to some, yeah, me too.
And over the weekend and a little bit last week and a little bit earlier this week, there were some members of the GOP that had a few speaking engagements. There was one particular speaking engagement that was quite interesting because of the fandom that was outside. Take a look.
Today's Turning Point USA conference included keynote speakers like Donald Trump, Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, and Ron DeSantis. And outside, in support of all these individuals, flew Nazi flags and swastikas. They also waved flags that said DeSantis country and distributed flyers that read, quote, "Every aspect of abortion is Jewish." When these people tell you who they are, believe them.
They actually would have been against DeSantis if they went by their genes. But not surprised there. No surprise. No. I mean, they got the Q, they got the people with the hoods, they got all that stuff all wrapped up in that little side of their whatever room. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then when they go to some rallies, they just change those flags and start waving the American flag and say, you know what, we were told to keep those at home, so we're going to bring these other flags. So they don't really know what we do on the weekends and during the week. But yeah, and those people are actually people that would be infiltrated in your local jobs, your school systems, your police, your fire departments. They work everywhere. So yeah, they're out there. Mm-hmm. You don't know your coworker is one.
And unfortunately, in recent days, the head of the CDC has decided, instead of just giving actual, factual, accurate information regarding this new monkeypox outbreak, has decided to further disinformation and hatred and fervor against the LGBTQIA plus community. There were 2 children that garnered a case of monkeypox, and she insinuated that they contracted monkeypox because they had contact with 2 gay men. Monkeypox is basically, the transmission is no different than chickenpox. Skin-to-skin contact. Skin-to-skin contact does not mean intercourse. It could be shaking a hand. It could be giving a hug. There was a woman over the weekend who it was reported she contracted monkeypox at an Airbnb. Someone who did not know that they had monkeypox sat on the couch. One of their scabs opened up on the couch, and outside of people like me who really thinks of regularly cleaning a couch, and depending on the of the couch, because once a week all this upholstery gets cleaned, and she literally sat on a couch, and because she was exposed to that, she contracted monkeypox. And I say this to give a little context to the next clip. This is disgusting. This is utterly ridiculous. Please, please, please do not spread disinformation. Please research monkeypox. Research for your skin type and your skin color what monkeypox will look like. I'm not saying this to be divisive or prejudiced or bigoted. I'm saying this because just like there are other diseases, they present differently depending on your skin tone. You may think you have a mild rash, or you may think that it's a hive because it will look different on my skin color as opposed to Chris, as opposed to someone else. So that's why I'm saying research it for your skin type and color. And if you're someone like me that has eczema, also put that into your searching. So you can tell the difference between, as my granny used to call it, when you have a flare-up, she used to call it the creeping crud. So know the difference between you just having a flare-up or your creeping crud coming and you plausibly contracting monkeypox. And one other caveat before I play this clip. New York City, I'm extremely disappointed in you. You are doing what Trump did at the beginning of the pandemic with COVID. You're giving improper guidelines. And so many people are not going to be properly diagnosed because you're saying that if it's a child, they can't have monkeypox, that you have to have had anonymous sex within a certain amount of time in order for it to be diagnosed as monkeypox. This is not an STD or an STI. And you can only be a part of the LGBTQIA plus community in order to be diagnosed with monkeypox. This is ridiculous. You're going to have people that are already bigoted, already homophobic, already transphobic, already biphobic, that are going to be running wild, just like they did with no mask, and contracting
Just how they
it.
did in the beginning of AIDS.
Right. And they're going to be spreading it to all of these people. And these people are going to have it in their mind like, oh, no, I can't have it. And this is going to be crucial. We do not need to be fighting 2 pandemics at once. Y'all learned in this country that people are too disgusting and too stupid to keep themselves alive.
Check your furniture, scabs and stuff.
Yeah, and do y'all know that there are children in school that are now referring to COVID as the boomer eliminator?
Only social media would do that.
Get it? These are kids that are too young to even be on social media.
I mean, I'm waiting to see what's next because if Jurassic Pox comes, I'm heading. I'm out.
Yep, me too. But let's roll this clip. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Why the fuck does Marjorie Taylor Greene still have a social media platform where she could spread this misinformation? Monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted infection. I've said it a million times before, and I will say it a million times again because it is important. Monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted infection. These are all the ways that monkeypox can be spread from person to person. And there are so many tweets responding to this one that are calling for the unaliving of gay men, calling us groomers and pedophiles. And this isn't anything new. This has been used against us for decades. But this is, I think, what the right wants at this point. I have to believe it, that they want gay men to just no longer exist. They just don't want us to exist anymore. And this rhetoric is so charged and so hateful. It is dangerous for my community, and I cannot believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene still to this day has a platform to say stuff like this.
Right. Just like Marjorie would say, it's national Christian pride.
Yeah. And what's sad is, just like to this day, as long as mononucleosis has been diagnosed and you know the symptoms and everything, people to this day still refer to it as the kissing disease. And before people go, Taz, that's not dangerous. That's not like monkeypox. Very fortunately, I am living, breathing proof to tell you, yes, you can die from that misconception. I had a cousin who came down with mono, and they assumed that because she had a boyfriend at the time, she had to have contracted it from her boyfriend. She did not. No one in my family or around us at the time understood that mono is airborne. We are exactly to the day 16 months apart. Growing up, we were virtually inseparable. I was the only one that was in close contact with her. Fast forward, I ended up being out of school and hospitalized for over 3 months. My vitals got so bad. And part of it was I was interrogated by so many members of my family, and I don't know how they didn't contract mono because they assumed sweet little innocent me was off on a kissing tour, just being a little mouth whore.
Mouth marathon.
Instead of taking me to get diagnosed. And it took the doctor explaining, we don't know where this myth of it's the kissing disease came from because it's airborne. And when I got to school, I remember people finding out that I had mono and the jokes and the ridiculing. And I'm like, what? This is the type of stuff that gets out of hand when people just want to make up stuff and put an agenda behind it, especially this Christian nationalist agenda. All this purity culture bullcrap.
Yeah. We know where the Christian nationalists rally on the weekends. They're usually burning things.
That part.
Old Marjorie, their cheerleader.
And she's a peach. But I'm a Christian. Girl, don't you cheat on your husband every other month?
They're like
Don't
Bobart.
you grift your followers?
Be like Bobart screaming she a Christian while wrapped around the pole.
And she, at the same conference that we just saw a clip from previously, her way of denying, her quote was, she was introducing Ted Cruz, I'm sorry. Well, Rafael Cruz. And was like, his name is in the news so much. Just so you know, I've never been an escort for Ted Cruz, but that's the coolest thing I've ever heard about him. She didn't deny being an escort. She said she
Wow.
wasn't an escort for him. And she's supposed to be a good Christian because after that, she
Mhm.
spent about 5 minutes talking about Christianity and everything else. But she thinks it is cool that these people thought he was paying her for the hoo-ha.
She was on the first Cancun trip.
I was just like, okay, y'all, y'all special. Alrighty, y'all. Pay attention to this next clip because we're gonna deep dive into some recent things that are Trump. Oh, and just so that you all know, yes, he did have Ivana Trump buried on one of his golf courses. Of course he did.
No, nobody's really golfing at his stuff, is he?
Now, and I'm pretty sure he would charge you to take pictures by her gravesite, but let's roll this beautiful footage regarding his inner circle. We'll see you all on the flip side.
Trump's inner circle is secretly making plans to fire thousands of government employees if he wins in 2024, report says. This includes plans to remove potentially thousands of defense and intelligence employees. The plan would be to replace them with people loyal to Trump. You know, there was one other person who did this in history. One other person who took over a government, a country, and he installed only the people who were most loyal to him. And they did his bidding. And they went on this massive rampage and murdered millions and millions of people. He blamed all of his country's problems on a certain ethnic group. And he got his base all stirred up over it. And that's how he was able to seize control of power in an entire country. Boy, if I could only remember who that was. Don't have my hat. Trumpers, enjoy.
And just to add on to that, Adolf Hitler also had a history of, just like Trump, getting people around him, utilizing them because of certain demographics they can appeal to. Once he got a certain new level of power,
Mm-hmm.
he got his minions turned against them. The clear difference between right now, Trump and Hitler, is that Hitler didn't just fire them. Hitler had them annihilated because one of Hitler's good friends and one of his right-hand men was a gay man, openly gay. Used him to reach out to secretly, or aka down low gay men at the time. And when everyone was flushed out, he sent a certain portion of the SS to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the parallels. If you all remember, you can look up online. There is an infamous Barbara Walters interview with Trump where she refuses to let Trump lie. And she brings up the fact that he reads a book written by Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody else is reading it to him, or it's the audio version that he's listening to because I've heard him speak. This is why he's using this playbook.
The books on tape. Yeah.
It's got to be. He's got to be on Audible. He's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about a lot of the blueprint for what the right was doing with Trump as their head, they were telling that loyal fan base who to listen to, who to watch, what media, telling everyone what books and stuff weren't bad. We remember the book burnings they had in Germany. We know that they took over the radios. They took over any news that filtered into the people's ears and eyes. They were in control of. They redid the school books, everything. That's how you take control. And anybody who disagreed, whatever, guess what? SS was coming for you. And they had neighbors and all that would tell on you. They hired people, gave them benefits if they would turn people in or tell on people.
And if somebody wanted your home, your business to replace you in regards to your reputation, just like the Salem witch trials, just like with McCarthyism, they would turn you in. And the evidence that they had was mythical and illogical, but they didn't care. They were trying to just eliminate you. It is the same tale over and over and over again. When you start having these witch hunts, it's not about fact. It's about moving up in power. People want that adjacency to whoever's in power, that top 1%. And they are going to force their way up that ladder one way or the other.
Yep. And they get up there, they don't want to give it up. And they will annihilate their leader. Back in the day, they'd probably take their competitors, take them out, and somehow they come up missing, they shoot them. Nowadays, there's other methods to taking out your opponents and doing things to influence what people see and hear. You just tell everyone that's your fan base who to listen to, who not to, and if you listen to them, that's the evil side, and you demonize a lot of things that otherwise these people that don't really have a mind of their own, don't really have their own thoughts. They're heavily influenced by somebody they look up to, and he turns them into giving their loyalty to him over country. And that's where it starts. You're loyal to a person, not the country, because you look at the person as, this is who I want representing because they speak like me. They if I do something bad, they're not mad, they're happy. So you don't want to lose somebody that represents your ideology, your thinking. So they will go to the ends of the earth defending Trump, regardless what's out there for them to actually find facts. They're told not to go there and look at those facts. They're told not to believe anything that's coming out of certain areas. So those people will never, and you see them every week because he goes around and has his little, gatherings, and he's still promoting the same stuff because, not to say that, something has changed, but in this case, he's fleecing their pockets. It's the grift. As long as he's getting them thinking he's putting up a fight or that he's fighting against, a certain entity, they'll keep giving money. And I'm sure a lot of these people are broke because once they get caught up in once they get a hold of their bank accounts, that thing keeps rolling out. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time canceling that thing. I mean, it's gonna be automatic coming out of your account. You don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that grift. It's the king grift.
And the thing about it is, people have been conditioned for this. Just listen to someone blindly and being made to choose between two people. Because for years now on social media, I saw it start on Facebook and kind of trickle over to Twitter and go to Instagram. Now, for a while, I've seen it off and on TikTok, where one creator decides they don't like another creator. And they go, well, if you're following this person or you like this person, you can't follow me. Why? I'm not involved in the beef. I may like the content from both of y'all. I'm not jumping in here. I'm not fueling the fire. If I want to read what they put up or watch the video they put up, I can. And that's Trump. You got to like me and nobody else.
Yeah,
If I decide I don't like this person, you can't like them either. We are not friends. Like, they make it seem like you're buddies, you're friends, you're cool.
Right. But you have to support whatever comes out of their mouth. Like, either you're with me or not. If as soon as you start to question, you're on the outside looking in, and they'll throw you under the bus. They'll put your name out there for those other supporters to come harass your household or come see you at work. They'll put your name out there.
Yeah, because I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Because the first time I saw something like that on Facebook, I was like, what the crap? And then I started noticing it. Like with Trump, it's like, oh, if you like this person, you can't come over here and like me.
Look at Michael Cohen. When they first went into his place, when they first went in to seize his documents and stuff, oh, he was all about, oh, this is horrible. Look what they're doing to that man and all this. As soon as he started talking, under the bus, the lowest of lows, and he found out, you
Yep.
know, unless you support him, even through jail time, like I said, that's how he is. I mean, he will put his own kids under the bus.
Yeah, because he's even been quoted as saying, just to make sure Ivanka doesn't do jail time.
Yep. I mean, he put Jared under there, even though we know about the history of the Kushner family. They're not exactly angels.
Not even
But yeah,
close.
I mean, going to the whole system and how the grift and all that's working, you can go back to Germany on that too. Because if people remember, when they built all those highways in Germany, and then they said, you know, well, we want everybody to use all those highways now, which were supposed to also be used for the military. They said, okay, we're going to build cars, which this is how the Beetle, the Volkswagen Bug came. They're going to have everyone get a kind of like a certificate or something saying that if you gave so much money, you were going to put it towards this car, that once they got it done, you were going to have this car, you had to keep giving money. People didn't get their car, but they kept the money. So who started the grift? Cars never came out, very few. But no, all these people did not get their cars, but they could also not get their money back because they said it went into some military funds.
Now we got two videos back to back. Y'all, you know what? I would say y'all not gonna believe this, but given the history of Trump, y'all gonna believe this. We'll see y'all on the flip side.
The Republican Party has railed on about their love of the troops. It's all an act. Maybe your run-of-the-mill Republican voter really does feel some sense of honor and respect for those of us who have served, but not Republican leaders.
In fact, as president, I wanted to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor, but they wouldn't let me do it. They wouldn't let me do it. I said, I'm going to give myself I've always wanted that.
I don't know the exact numbers, but most times that it is awarded, it is because someone died in the line of duty protecting their fellow service members. The Congressional Medal of Honor is such a high award that if the lowest ranking member of the military has been awarded it, the highest ranking member, a 4-star general, has to salute in the presence of a Congressional Medal of Honor, worn by even a private. And Donald Trump, draft dodger. Yuck, 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 yuck. I wanted to give myself one. I always wanted one of those. And they laugh and they laugh. Patriotism on full display.
I saw this today, and I had to take a moment to hear it for myself.
In fact, as president, I wanted to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor, but they wouldn't let me do it. They wouldn't let me do it. I said, I'm going to give myself I've always wanted that.
It's only
but
for
they wouldn't let me
heroes.
do that. They said that would be inappropriate. I said, okay. But
So Corporal Bone Spurs wanted to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor. Now you can hear the people laughing. It's some big joke. To those that served, I don't think it's a joke.
That is horrible. But that's how a lot of those people are going to laugh with him. They're going to joke with him. They're going to go along with him. Nobody wants to boo him or do some of this other stuff, of course, but it's an insult. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, when you get some of these medals, I mean, in the military, there's a lot behind that. And to think that I'm just going to give it to myself, it really shows you what Trump is. I mean, that really plain and simple. Getting things without earning them.
If you all remember, for the past year and a half, I have done a lot. I knew a lot about Trump before, but a lot of deep diving, reading all these books that
Marry Trump.
regarding him and explaining to you all he's never done any work for himself, actually. But let's also keep in mind that the Trump family, all the way back to when they were the Trump family, has been anti-military. Trump's great-grandfather avoided the military. His grandfather avoided the military so much, his citizenship was removed from Germany. He had to leave. They did not want him to come back. Trump is a draft dodger. One of his sons wanted to join the military, and he threatened to disown this child. So to hear himself say, after disrespecting McCain,
Oh, that was horrible.
Gold Star families, etc., etc., he wants to give himself a high honor reserved for military person. This is the same person who wanted a military parade in his honor.
He did that to McCain when he was living and when he passed. I mean, he was just disrespectful all the time about McCain. And it was because they bumped heads.
Yep. And I think, well, we know that there's a shift in the GOP leaning more towards DeSantis, because DeSantis is just as much off the rails as Trump, but he's a little bit more palatable to people. And especially since, you know, things are not looking good during the January 6th hearings.
Mm-hmm.
But the general GOP is not the only ones that are sick of Trump shit. Take a look at this.
Oh boy, Fox News host Brett Baer just said the January 6th hearings made Donald Trump look, quote, horrible. He said this to every single Fox News viewer, and by the way, they didn't watch the hearings because Fox News didn't cover them. But now they're turning on Donald Trump and convincing all of their viewers to hop off of the Donald Trump train. Hey Donnie, how does it feel to lose all of your power?
And on the heels of that, we have this headline.
Chrissy woke up. It's about time. Chrissy woke up.
Yeah, the DOJ is finally investigating him. And what is Trump doing?
Donald Trump is melting down on Truth Social again. He just said, quote, the 2 phone calls that I made to the Georgia official were perfect. No, they were not perfect. When you ask an official to find you 11,780 votes that do not exist, you are in violation of Statute 52 U.S. Code 20511, which states that anybody who knowingly or willingly deprives and defrauds a state's residents of a free and fair election is in violation of federal law. And that is what you did, Donald. That is not perfect. That is criminal.
And
that's why Georgia scares him more than the Jan 6.
And Trump started his meltdown pretty early in the hearings. But here are some of the best gems from Truth Social. Yeah, they still haven't figured out that I'm on here. So let's take a look at them. Trump gave order to make sure January 6th rally was safe event. Pentagon memo shows General Milley's recollection undercuts Democrat effort to suggest president wanted to incite violence. That comes from justthenews.com, which is all propaganda pro-Trump site.
And
Donald Trump Donald Trump said, I had an election rigged and stolen from me and our country. The USA is going to hell. Am I supposed to be happy? It's Nancy Pelosi's fault. She turned down the troops. Perhaps she was disengaged, maybe looking for her husband. But Trump all of a sudden is acting as if the Speaker of the House has more power than the president. She's not the Secretary of Defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on, fake tapper of CNN is so biased and pathetic. No wonder CNN's ratings are at an all-time low. P.S. Almost all Trump-endorsed candidates have won or are winning. No.
Oh,
Liz
that's a lie.
Cheney. Yeah, and this one really gets me. And I want to know who's helping him spell some of these words. Liz Cheney is a sanctimonious loser. The great state of Wyoming is wise to her. Why not show the tapes or interview those that with evidence challenging election? They've already shown that, but it's
What?
it's he's oh, it gets better. It
He doesn't. He
because
doesn't. He doesn't know these people are under oath because he doesn't know what under oath means.
yeah. And today, here we go. The Georgia phone calls were perfect. Many people and lawyers on both sides were knowingly on the call. No, they weren't. That's already been disproven. I assumed the call was taped. All of the calls were taped. You didn't have to assume. You were still president at the time. There were zero complaints or angry, how dare you charges made during the call, and no hangups by anyone aggrieved or insulted at what was said. They were perfect calls. I was just doing my job as president. That is not your job. And seeking fairness and the truth. The election was rigged and stolen. Dude, you were the POTUS at the time. Who is going to hang up on the POTUS, especially a POTUS who likes to cosplay as a mafia boss?
Yeah, try to hang up on him and see what happens.
Right. And then he goes on, people forget this is all about a rigged and stolen election. No, it's about your lie regarding it. But rather than go after the people that rigged and stole it, they go after the people that are seeking honesty and truth and have freedom of speech and many other defenses on their side. Yeah, that's why they're all getting convicted,
Right.
Donald.
Right.
Justice Department should look at the crime of the century. They are. Evidence is massive and irrefutable. You're right. It's just against you, Donnie boy.
They always say the opposite of what they're actually doing.
They always pull this smoke and mirrors like, look over there. It's always sleight of hand.
It's them. They're stealing something. No, you are. Like, it's always the opposite.
It's just like a cheating spouse. It's just like a cheating spouse. The moment they think that you might be onto them, they're like, you were 2 minutes late from work. You're cheating. Who are you cheating with?
Yeah.
The stop sign? The red light at the corner? I guess. But he goes,
you don't see nothing. I don't see nothing.
Then he further unravels just more disinformation by the Democrats, like the Russia scam, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2. It's not a hoax. You were impeached twice. The long-running Mueller report, which ended in no collusion, it didn't, and so much more. Now that we have found the answers to these crooked election-changing events, why is the Justice Department not prosecuting those responsible? Plenty of time left. Well, they are, my dude. Like they are.
Yeah, he was all up, the fact that he was all up in Georgia, and the fact he was impeached twice, hand in hand. Georgia, peach, impeached. Okay, never mind. Yes.
And we have yet another one of Trump's favorite talking points that yet again has failed tremendously. Let's take a look.
Another favorite Trump and Republican talking point goes down in flames. The claim that Nancy Pelosi rejected Donald Trump's request to deploy 10,000 National Guard members before January 6th. And it's just Republicans and Trump love to blame the other side because the facts are so bad for them regarding January 6th and the attack on our democracy. And here is Sean Hannity pushing this bogus claim last week.
People in the room. 4 of them I have on tape on this program. The president himself, Mark Meadows, Kash Patel, and the acting Secretary of Defense, Miller, was on this program. 4 of the individuals in that meeting confirmed on this show that security request took place. This committee's never mentioned that. 2 of the 4 people testified to that committee under oath. They were in the room when President Trump made this authorization.
Christopher Miller, you say? Surely he doesn't mean this Chris Miller.
So just so we're clear, you did not have 10,000 troops or to be on the ready for January 6th, prior to January 6th.
A non-military person probably could have some sort of weird interpretation. But no, to answer your question, no, that was not part of my plan or the Department of Defense's plan.
And just that the rest of his statement was, quote, that was a direct order from President Trump, and yet here is what we see, all kinds of blame going around, but not a whole lot of accountability. And to be crystal clear, there was no direct order from President Trump to put 10,000 troops to be on the ready for January 6th, correct?
No. Yeah, that's correct. There was no order from the president.
So Sean Hannity was wrong. That's weird. So, to remove any doubt, not only did Trump not contact his Secretary of Defense, he also did not give an order for more troops before January 6th.
Yeah, but somehow we're going to always go back to, oh no, this is Pelosi's circus. Pelosi always comes back. We've listened to all of people from his administration in different levels, under oath, live and behind the scenes. Somehow our answer is always, oh, this is the witch hunt, political Pelosi and blah blah blah. We didn't say these hearings were all Democrats. They're literally shooting down their own. We've seen how Fox has gone back on their own text messages and said, oh, they're using, props, and this is, Laura Ingraham and all them. Oh, this is just, they've made a circus out of this stuff. Yeah, but they didn't make it up. That was still your text. This is still your stuff between Hannity and Ingram. You wouldn't get that out of old Tookums. But, yeah. They got nothing. They're going to have their viewers. They obviously will. Their viewers are guided just like Trump guides his followers. They don't watch any other services out there. They were told not to. So all they know is what Tucker and them say. But anybody else that has a brain, yeah. I know for me personally, I do my best to find the right resources and seek the truth. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to listen to somebody else. That's like me going down to the local grocery store and getting my political advice out of somebody in produce.
And if y'all remember how the GOP voted against codifying marriage within the United States, and one of them that most notably voted against codifying marriage and to include marriage within the LGBTQIA+ community
just happened to be at a wedding.
Yep, here we go.
This story is unbelievable. This is Republican Congressman Glenn Thompson, and just last week, Glenn Thompson voted against the same-sex marriage bill in the House. Well, just 3 days after that vote, this guy attended his gay son's wedding. His office said that the congressman was thrilled to celebrate his son's marriage. So your gay son's marriage is okay, but no one else's is? Give me a break, Glenn. Not only is he a raging hypocrite, but he should be ashamed of himself. Do better.
They never think about their hate affecting them and those that they care about. Right. Because it's all about, you can't do this, you can't do this. Guess what? If this doesn't pass, that wedding you just went to was null and void. It no longer exists.
Mm-hmm. And all his son's friends, too.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember in 2005, I was still working in corporate America, and the CFO of the company that I worked for, she looked like and reminded me of Ellen DeGeneres. She was going through an adoption process, and her then fiance could not officially get married, but they went to Martha's Vineyard and had a commitment ceremony so that they could have a wedding and, have their friends and family celebrate their love and their desire to be committed to each other for life. And I don't think these people realize that's what we're about to roll back to. We're about to roll back to that time of, yeah, you can have all the pomp and circumstances and none of the legality. You could, the love of your life, be in the hospital, and there's nothing you can do or say regarding their medical treatment as a spouse could. That life insurance policy,
Right.
you can't, like, you could be with somebody for 20 years and they pass away. And I've seen this previously. And you're left with nothing because the family can come in and take everything that you've built with this person away from you.
That's right. Because they don't. Yep. And if there wasn't somebody sitting up there in the high court, shoot, there's people in there that don't like the IR community.
And it's funny because interracial marriage is included in this this bill to codify marriage, and a lot of the GOP members that voted against it are from the IR. Like, I'm like, are y'all kidding me?
Yeah. Right.
Like, you're in an interracial marriage. You're voting against your own marriage.
Right.
Like, if you hate your spouse, just divorce them. This is a whole lot to go through to get out of this marriage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But I will say there's a little bit of good news here in the good old Commonwealth. Let me share this with y'all.
Great news for Charles Booker in Kentucky. Rand Paul was just accused by the Ukrainian government of being a Russian propagandist. And the best part is, they aired this on Fox News. So all of the Republicans who watch Fox News, which is every single one of them, are now going to think of Rand Paul as a Russian propagandist. And guess what? Charles Booker is not. Democrats, get out and get loud for Charles Booker because he's about to unseat Russia Rand Paul.
And Moscow Mitch.
Yep, and what is so much a page out of the poetic justice genre is that it's the GOP that has pushed this. Russia wrong, Russia bad. Democrats have Russian agents. Don't trust anybody who's a Russian agent, knowing that they were the ones that have been working with Russia, not anybody else.
Right. Just like they push China. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Commonwealth news.
I'm like, wow, this is funny.
Oh, Rand McNally. Yep. Wonderful. Oh, we have a guest appearance.
Oh, of course we do. And for those of you all that want to know what good future members of healthcare look like, take a look at this white coat ceremony. I do not know who made the choice to invite a forced birther to speak at this white coat ceremony, because there were members of the staff and members of the student body who protested, petitioned to not have them speak. And I guess the school thought that everybody would just sit there and comply. No, these are the type of healthcare workers that we need, that above all, they are concerned about what you as a patient need and want for your health. And they don't give a damn what anybody else says. They take that Hippocratic oath seriously. They know that they went into a science-based field and they're going to use the science to save and protect lives. What are you doing?
Yes, indeed. Amen. There is the biggest non-dog parker right there.
He does not dog park though.
Wonderful.
But your final thoughts on the night?
I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I know we're all going through a lot of I know I'm going to be going through a month of withdrawal, that we won't have hearings until September, because the January 6th was giving me some really good non-binge watching weekly entertainment, and Dave laid out a very nice job. I mean, I'm very impressed with the committee. Merrick Garland, who is so non-emotional that we never know what he's doing or thinking.
Ow!
Things get, I hope things get ramped up with that soon with the DOJ, and I really am now hoping for the safety of my co-host there, who is now under full attack.
Be back.
By, wow. Okay. So yeah. Good time tonight. Hope everyone had fun. I will return next week with some more entertainment for you. And my co-host, I hope that her safety is there and she's not bleeding. So hopefully she can pop in here in a second. But also, everybody check out all the new good shows that are on streaming services.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, there. Hey, it's back. No blood. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Your thoughts?
Someone's going to be homeless.
Okay, good thought.
Oh,
that was your thought for today.
Okay. In all seriousness, my final thoughts on tonight are, as always, please do your research. I try to do my best to put as many resources out there. Also, keep in mind in the description, please excuse my typo. I'm going to try to go in and fix it because I just realized I put Cat Moss instead of Kate Moss. I was typing quickly. But in the description of this video are the latest blogs. Keep in mind, you can go through my link tree and find the blog Camp Taz, and you can follow it to get all of the updates in real time. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Until tomorrow, and do keep in mind, tomorrow's show is going to be a little extended since I did not do a show last night due to a little emergency, but we will see you then. Till next time.
Be good. Be safe.